Hey MechWarriors, Jonathan here at Night Knowledge, and these are my 5 best tips for MechWarrior 5 clans. Number 1. Clan mechs are far superior than any inner sphere mech, but they have a fatal weakness. 95% of the variants can hold up to 80 to 90% of their armament in their arms alone. This can make early game challenging as arms are normally the first thing to be destroyed in combat. For this reason, I would recommend saving some tonnage and adding armor to your arms in the MechLab. The Nova Prime OmniPod set is a perfect example of a powerful medium mech with all their weaponry in their arms. What I'd do is remove one ER medium laser from each arm and replace it with 1 ton of armor instead. Missions in clans are much longer than in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, and this simple adjustment will make a huge difference in lasting longer and dealing maximum damage. Number 2. Instead of having tiers of weapons like Mercenaries, Clans adds a whole new system of upgrades, including being able to unlock different OmniPod sets for your mechs, applying chassis upgrades, and allocating pilot experience for passive skills. One of the biggest jumps in power for you and your mech warriors is using chassis experience, which you earn from piloting a specific mech and completing achievements for it, and applying it towards unlocking loadouts for your mechs. This will give you different hardpoints for your mech, some of them being outright better and others suiting your playstyle, which is very important. As stated earlier, you can also allocate your chassis experience towards chassis upgrades. By going to the research lab, you can select chassis upgrades and upgrade specific mechs, including their top speed, acceleration, and aim angle. Number 3. Depending on their performance, your fellow starmates will earn experience that can be applied in the barracks between missions. The most important skill, in my opinion, is evasion, which increases their chance of evading attacks. When you unlock a certain amount of skills, it opens up affinity slots, which allows you to give additional bonuses for specific mech weight classes or specific mechs. I would always recommend to dump and save all experience earned into at least 3 points in evasion. At 5 points plus double 1.3x bonuses, your starmates will still take damage, but taking less damage is better than none at all. Number 4. Between missions, you can research and upgrade almost any gear so long as you have the appropriate components. I definitely recommend saving up and researching armor damage reduction and structure damage reduction, which increases your durability in combat by 25% respectively. Scientists can generate a lot of research between missions, so make sure you check the bottom right of the research screen to see how many research points you're generating versus how many points are required for your multiple research projects. Now, this was hotly contested in my MechWarrior Mercenaries video, but I'll say it again. There is ghost heat in MechWarrior 5 clans. Essentially, the more weapons you fire at the same time increases the amount of heat you generate. Thankfully in clans, if you overheat, you don't shut down or take damage, but only lose access to your weapons for a few precious seconds. To prove ghost heat exists, let's do some numbers and math. One medium ER laser generates almost no heat in a nova, between 0 to 1 heat. But as soon as you shoot 2 medium ER lasers at the same time, it generates 6 to 7 heat. Ghost heat doesn't exist. Well, explain that. If it didn't exist, we should then generate 0 to 2 heat after shooting 2 ER medium lasers. Shooting 4 at the same time doesn't generate 12 to 14 heat, it generates 20 heat. And shooting all 8 generates 45 heat. At the end of the day, Whether or not you agree with me that ghost heat exists in clans, I don't care. But if you're struggling in combat and find yourself overheating often, it may be because you're firing too many weapons at one time, generating heat too quickly. And yes, you can quickly take out more enemies if you shoot all your weapons at one time, but in long battles, you're more likely to cause your weapons to shut down, and this is painful more so when you missed. So if you want my advice, if you have a lot of weapons, either put them into smaller groups or select chain fire, and as you can see in this Nova, you can fire them nearly endlessly. And those are my top 5 tips for MechWarrior 5 clans. Share in the comments below what tips you have for your fellow clanners. Check out the rest of my channel for other videos on MechWarrior 5 clans, video games, board games, and other fun things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.